Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Pop and Culture Podcast, episode 55. I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
And we are back for more comic books, podcasts, TVs, movies, and whiskey.
Whiskey.
I know. And for those of you who are watching, you'll see that this bottle already has a hefty dent in it. This dent was just you and I, UFC 194.
I think that dent was like 3/5 me.
Yeah.
I scored mine pretty strong.
All right. So give you some, give me some. And like a professional drunk, all my bottles have speed pours on them.
Yeah, I when I showed up on was that this Saturday? That was this last Saturday.
Yeah.
I saw that, and that was the first thing I commented on because that's genius.
So we are drinking Darby's Reserve. It's a small batch rye whiskey. It comes from North Charleston, South Carolina. Produced in bottles by Terra Pure Spirits. Aged for months in new oak and filtered with Terra Pure. Registered trademark.
Months?
Shouldn't
that be years?
No, whiskey doesn't have to be. I mean, preferably, but it doesn't have to be.
I guess that's true. Yeah. I guess I'm just so used to Scotch.
You're so used to Scotch, or even a lot of the bourbons are years. We came across this one. I was at the Total Wine and More, and I had just picked up some stuff at Costco. I had gotten Bullet Rye, another bottle of Maker's Mark, which is my favorite, and I was going to get Winchester bourbon.
Okay.
I put it back on the shelf because I've had Winchester, and it's good. I don't dislike it.
No.
And the old man who worked there was like, "Oh, you're making a mistake by putting that back there." I'm like, "Well, I got Maker's Mark." He goes, "That's fine." He goes, "You might want to branch out." And I'm like, "I've branched out on my whiskeys, thank you."
Yeah.
Like in my head, I'm all like,
"Don't act like you know me."
Don't. As the t-shirt I saw today, don't bro me if you don't know me. Like, don't.
Ooh,
yeah, I saw that t-shirt today.
Wow.
The first thing I said to the dude was like, "What's up, bro?"
Oh, jeez.
Anyways, so I'm like, interesting. I'm like, well, I actually branch out a lot. He goes, if you really want to branch out, you should try this. He did this one. If you want rye. I'm like, oh, I just got a bottle of Bullet. Bullet's fine, but for a sophisticated palate. Ooh. And I'm like, you motherfucker.
I'm sorry, can you rewind that back and figure out how you can actually make that more douchey? Because I don't know if you can.
And I was just like, what? And I look at him with this look of confusion. And I'm like, I know you're trying to goat me into buying this. You know what I mean? Like, you're trying to goad me, so you're like, yeah, come on. I'm hitting you where it hurts. I'm all like, I'm good, thanks. He's like, well, if you don't like it, you can drink up to a quarter bottle, and if you don't like it, you can bring it back and return. I'll give you something else.
Wait, what?
Oh, wait.
Sold.
Yeah, and I was like, you said you would drink the rest. You didn't say you'd refund it. He goes, oh, no, we would do a full refund if you're unsatisfied. I'm like, then yeah, let's do that. Like, now, I'm like, that's how you sell me. Don't try to hit me in my ego.
No.
If I don't like it, I can return it. Yeah, now I'm in.
I feel like I now need to just go on a tasting spree.
I know.
No, this wasn't good. Oh, that one wasn't good either.
Sir, you returned 19 bottles this week. Yes, and?
Can you just start stocking better quality things, and then we won't have this problem?
We'll be fine. So as soon as he said that, I was like, sure. That is the selling point for me. I get to try something and then return if I don't like it. Okay, I'm in. So, Darby's Rye. And neat for you on ice for me.
That is delicious.
It really is good. I do like it. It's not as sweet as Maker's Mark, which is what I'm used to, but most ryes aren't. Most ryes have a little bit more bite to them.
Yeah.
Which is why I really like them in my Manhattans, but for this reason, we're having it straight. I still quite enjoy it.
Yeah, no, it's very good. I think I had the first taste of it out of the bottle.
You did.
And then we even had, there was a bottle of Glenlivet 12, which I was excited about when I showed up. I didn't even touch it.
No, we just did the Darby.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, there is half a bottle left.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's early yet, but.
Oh, yeah. But clearly I also just did heavy pours on this again.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's get into before I come to terms with how much whiskey I drink in a week, let's come to terms with movies, TVs, podcasts, comics, and more.
Okay.
We always start off by starting with TV. The only TV I really have to touch on is what we watched together.
Okay.
And it's our monthly UFC, and it was UFC 194.
Right.
The big fight was Aldo versus McGregor. We had a couple issues here at the house. We lost power several times due to windstorms. As it turns out, a couple of transformers in the area blew.
Okay.
We had problems because the UFC app was not working properly.
Right.
Apparently, this was a big enough problem for Xbox One that on Monday morning when I turned on my Xbox, guess what app updated?
Oh, yeah.
And then I had all the rewind capabilities and everything else that you usually do have.
Nice.
So that was nice. But the big title fight was Aldo versus McGregor. Aldo has not lost a match in 10 years. McGregor is a monstrous douche. Jay,
That's true.
what happened in this match?
I still have a problem with this match. So the bell rings, they come out. Aldo throws a punch. Then McGregor throws a punch, and Aldo falls flat on his face.
One punch just connected hard on the chin, and he went down.
But I still feel like I don't know that he was out at the punch. I almost think that it was a combination of him hitting the ground and the hammer punch that he took to the head after that.
So he has...
It looked like he tripped. It really did.
So, and it's true, because when I first saw it, I didn't see the punch. I saw the swing and him just continuing to fall down.
Yeah.
Now I'm all like, oh God, he fell down and he hammer punched him out. And they replayed it. If you listen to Aldo talk afterwards, gone. Like, he admits he was
Okay.
gone, did not remember it, was out of it.
Okay.
Like, no recollection of it.
So yeah, it was real disappointing because I was definitely rooting for Aldo.
Oh, everyone, I
just
think,
because
really
McGregor's
was.
such an ass.
Such an ass.
But yeah, I mean, some of the other fights on the card were good.
Yep.
So it wasn't a total waste. It wasn't a Vander Holyfield, Mike Tyson debacle. But yeah. So that happened.
One punch and he's down.
Really, the last two fights, main events we watched were pretty disappointing.
Oh no, not true at all. The one before this was Ronda Rousey versus the Preacher's Daughter. That was super exciting to watch Rousey get her ass beat.
I was disappointed. I wanted to see her put up a little bit of a fight.
So she's actually...
Because I still say she was out halfway through the first round.
Oh, she was. She was.
Her feet just didn't know to stop holding her up.
Mm-mm. That poor thing was done. And in fact, she made an announcement stating that... Because they're going to rematch in about 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And Holmes wants it sooner. Holmes is like, why are we waiting so long? Let's do this now. Because she's a professional boxer. She is a trained athlete of the caliber. She's like, I'm not used to waiting 6-7 months between my matches. I want one once a month, once every couple of weeks. But Rousey has stated that if she loses to Holmes in the rematch, she's quitting UFC for good.
It's about time. I mean, really, we all saw that coming at some time in the near future anyways.
Well, think about it this way. She's great at it, and she makes good money doing it. I gotta imagine she makes better money doing everything else she does.
Yeah.
The movies and the appearances and the whatnots, and has it. The Rock left WWE and has done great for himself.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Ronda Rousey's like, I'm just doing that. I'm going that route.
Yeah.
So that is UFC and the only actually, silver screen stuff I have to talk about. Yourself?
So I finished season 1 of Jericho.
Okay.
Still really good. Now they've revealed the last couple episodes that the U.S. has now been split into essentially 6 different territories, and each territory has its own person claiming to be the new president of the United States.
Okay.
And in the season finale, we saw a group of people from the U.S. military from one of these sections arrive in Jericho to give them some support, and you find out that there was somebody in the Senate or something like that was part of the entire terrorist cell that did all the nukes, and he's part of this. He just happens to be part of this territory where the military is. So there is a defector from the terrorist cell that's living in Jericho. So the senator is sending the military in essentially to find him.
Oh, wow.
And find the nuke that is still in the town that he didn't set off.
So left on a big cliffhanger then.
Yeah. The downside is it got canceled halfway through the second season. So there's only 7 episodes of season 2.
Do they wrap it up at least? Like, do you?
I don't know. So that's what I have left is those 7 episodes. So I watched that, and then the wife and I are continuing through Mad Men. We have 3 episodes left in the first half of the 7th season, which is the final season. The second half is not up streaming anywhere yet.
Not even on. Really?
Really?
So still just discs.
Uh,
Because you can buy.
yeah, I guess I could do the discs.
You
That's a
could
good
do the
point. That's a
discs.
good point. Yeah. So,
Because Best Buy is doing a deal. I think it's $120 for the entire collection.
I'll just Netflix
well,
TV.
obviously.
But yeah. So that's all I have for TV.
All right. So do we want to talk about trailers? There was a bunch of trailers that came out this week.
Sure. I
There
have
are
not
4
watched.
big ones.
I don't know that I've watched any of them. If I have, I'll chime in when you talk about it.
Did you watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2?
I did watch that one.
Okay, so we finally saw Rocksteady and Bebop.
Yeah.
We saw them convert not the van, but the garbage truck
Right.
that still shoots the manhole covers.
Yeah. Which I'm glad they kept that because that was always my favorite part of that van.
It's pivotal. The part about it I thought was really interesting was the CGI effects. At
Okay.
some parts, you're like, man, that looked really good. And in other parts, you're like, God, that looks really bad.
So and that makes me wonder. I've wondered this about other movies I've seen. When you watch the credits, there is usually more than one effects studio.
Yeah.
So I would think if you're making a movie, and you're using multiple studios, you'd be like, this is what we need them to look like. Stay consistent. And if they don't come across consistent, you would have somebody redo that shit. But it does not seem to happen in Hollywood.
No, it doesn't. And it's actually the same problem I had with the next trailer is Legend of Tarzan.
Okay, I did not watch that trailer.
So you have... God, Skarsgård, I can't remember. Skarsgård. Andrew.
Alex.
Alex, thank you.
Yeah.
Is it Alex?
It's Alexander Skarsgård.
Okay. Alexander Skarsgård. There's so many of them. There's like 5 of them running around.
Yeah. Yay, Scandinavia.
Anyways, so Skarsgård is playing Tarzan. And again, like 90% of that trailer, I'm all like, oh, I'm totally in. Christoph Waltz. Samuel L. Jackson, I did not expect to show up in
he's
it,
in
but
everything.
He's in everything.
Like, he probably just walked onto the set one day and be like, where do you want me? I'm in this movie now.
Yeah.
Here's what you got to pay me.
Does he get paid in anything besides Capital One venture cards? Or are they just like, here's another one?
Right? When you max it out, just throw it away. Somebody will pay it eventually.
Yeah, whatever, it's fine. But 90% of it, I'm like, okay, I'm totally in. And then 10% of it, I'm all like, as he's swinging through the trees, I'm like, that looks great. Why does that piece look so shitty? Okay, it's back to being good now. Like, what the fuck just happened? Or as he's falling through with the apes, I'm like, certain parts of the apes look great. And other parts, I'm like, you guys look so stupid. Like, what is wrong? Like, is there not a consistent artist?
Probably not.
Like, I mean, obviously not. But
I mean,
what
they
the
just
fuck?
they just farmed it out to a couple buildings in China.
Number 4, X-Men: Age of Apocalypse.
I saw that one.
And
I'm actually less unexcited to see this.
so you're more excited?
I didn't want to give it a positive.
You went from no to meh?
Yeah.
Is what I'm hearing?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
The new footage, or I guess it's not even new footage, the actual footage of Apocalypse looks a lot better than those Simon Ooze
Yeah.
pictures. Actually seeing him move around, I'm like, okay, it's not so bad. It's really hard for me to see Sansa Stark play Jean Grey.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, it can't be any worse than First Class.
So I had a couple issues with it, and I had some things I really liked. One, I loved the part where Apocalypse is holding down Professor X,
And he's just getting bigger and bigger. Yeah.
I'm all like, yes.
That totally reminded me of the animated series.
Oh, yeah,
Apocalypse.
absolutely. I hate the part where Mystique is the one who's rallying the students and encouraging them and taking them under the wing. I'm like, no, I don't need Jennifer Lawrence. I don't care about Jennifer Lawrence. Go make your stupid indie films. I don't care.
Right.
Sansa Stark, this Jean Grey totally threw me, but fine. I'll totally get over that. The fact that the 4 horsemen are going to be Archangel, Magneto, Storm, and is Wolverine the 4th one? I can't remember who the 4th one is all of a sudden. I knew before I had the whiskey.
That just means it's good whiskey.
Yeah, I agree.
I was definitely interested when they showed Archangel.
So it's Magneto, Storm, Psylocke, and Archangel.
Oh, I guess I didn't realize Psylocke was a horseman.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how they do the Archangel thing. Because obviously we've seen Angel. Not ish. We saw him in, what was it, X2? X3.
But those movies are not.
No, so that's weird. But knowing how he got the metal wings originally in the comics,
right?
I'm really curious to see if they're going to touch on that at all at the beginning of this.
I'm just curious how they're just like, nope, that's the way he's always been.
Yeah, and that'll piss me off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely piss me off.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it looked good. Like, I thought the costuming on this was really good. But, yeah, if they're just like, if he steps into a machine with feathers and steps out with metal, I'm going to be pissed.
Okay.
They're going to adamantium dip them.
Oh, my God, if that happens. Oh, if that happens. And the last one, Star Trek.
I did not watch that one.
So, I need to. Oh, God damn it! It looks so like this is the. I'm sorry, I'm stuttering. I'm having a hard time with what I'm about to say next. This may be one of the only times I recall where my statement was like 90% the exact same verbiage that Will Wheaton used.
Oh,
I know.
Oh,
I know. It's a sad day for everyone in America. As you all know, Will and I. Anyways, it's so bad and so good at the same time.
okay.
Like you watch it, you're like, that looks like an awesome sci-fi kind of movie that is not Star Trek.
Okay.
In fact, I sent a buddy of mine a message. I'm like, I can't wait to see Fast and Furious Star Trek edition. And then I totally forgot. Oh, wait, the director from Fast and Furious is actually directing this.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, so it's not just... Like, I totally spaced it when I wrote that comment. Because to me, that's what it fucking looks like.
Okay.
The continual action scenes and the camera cuts and the angle twirls and this and that. And, like, has nothing to do with Star Trek whatsoever.
So you're saying the Enterprise now has a ground kit and NOS?
No, the Enterprise apparently gets destroyed and they're not even on it anymore for part of the movie.
What?
Like, it's shenanigans. Like, watching it, you're just like, I actually don't know what the movie's about from this trailer because there's so many quick cuts, action scenes, people hanging off cliffs. Like, George Takei was reading it. He's all like, why is there so many cliffs and people hanging off them? And then he, like, it's strange because it looks like Star Trek because they have the costumes on. But that's it. Nothing else is Star Trek-esque. In the essence of, like, there's no exploration. There's no, like, trying to, like, technology advancement, science. Like, Star Trek was, even granted, it was pseudoscience. It definitely wasn't accurate.
Right.
But at least they were trying to pretend.
Yeah.
Like, this is just, again, Fast and Furious was Star Trek edition. So, obviously, I'm gonna watch it.
Right.
But I didn't love Khan. Like, it was fine. The second one. And the first one with J.J. Abrams was also fine. I feel like it's going to be the nail in the Star Trek coffin. Like, I feel after this, they're either going to redo it again or just scrap it and be like, clearly we need to get back to what this should be.
Well, I heard as far as Star Trek in general, they're going to be doing a new TV series.
Yes, the TV series is going to be on ABC or CBS. I can't recall, but on their web channel. It's not going to be actually aired on TV. It's going to be a web only.
I'm getting real tired of that. Like, you own a motherfucking TV station. Put shows on your TV station. I don't need, Like CWC, screw that.
What about Crackle? Wasn't that Jerry Seinfeld's?
But that they don't have an actual TV station.
Sure.
Also, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee is great. I'm excited for the next season.
I can't believe they're making another season.
Why wouldn't they?
So yeah, so Will Wheaton had said this was a great action sci-fi movie. I don't understand why they're wearing Star Trek clothes or something like that.
All right, fair enough.
Which it was very apt, and now I feel dirty after saying that.
You and him can go share a Woot Stout.
Don't. Gotta hate that beer. Gotta hate his stupid face. Can we talk about something I like now, please?
Sure. Did you watch any movies?
Yeah, I watched Krampus.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about that.
No, okay. So I actually really...
And we've talked about this already. So your description of it, I enjoy. I'm glad to know it didn't turn out as bad as I thought it was.
I quite enjoyed Krampus. I'll give some spoilers because whatever. It was very funny. It was very shticked at parts. Like, they were not taking themselves seriously.
No.
In watching the trailer, you don't go into it thinking, man, this is going to be a horror movie. Like, this is... You watch it, you're like, this is clearly going to be a comedic horror.
Right.
Which is interesting because one of the guys I went with, after it was done, he's like, man, that is not at all what I was thinking it was going to be after the trailer. So I'm like, what fucking trailer did you watch, dude?
Yeah.
Like, it blew my mind. So...
Yeah, like, I've already seen the trailer, and I knew it wasn't going to be a full-on horror movie or slasher or anything like that. So for the people that... Like, yeah, what trailer they're seeing, or what are they drinking while they're watching this trailer that made them think, like, this was, like, a genuine, like, Jason or anything like that?
Sorry if you heard that really loud ice clink at the end of my drink.
There's a very large ice cube, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, dude, I love these huge ice cubes. So, no, it was funny. It was shtick. I love at the end because the old school grandma, she's the one who knows what's going on this whole time. And she's like, keep the fireplace warm. Like, she's telling her all these other things. And everyone's all like, she's just old and set in her ways. Nah, grandma knows what's up. Like, come those types of creepy situations, always trust the elders.
Oh,
That's just the go-to, trust the elders.
Unless you're watching The Visit, then don't trust the elders.
Oh, man, you don't flip the switch.
Whoa.
Wow. Oh. Now I don't know if I should trust my elders or not. You know what? I'm sticking in the 50 range. That way they're not really my elders, but they're smart.
But pre-Denny's senior menu, but...
That's right. They're not quite AARP, but they're starting to get the solicitations for it.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. But she's trying to explain what it is and how the boy gave up believing in Santa, and, you know, Krampus is now coming to get the family, and she's like, it's not about gifts, and it's about sacrifice of the heart. So at the end of the movie, the boy, you know, all the family's been dead. Krampus has taken them all, and he leaves the boy behind.
Okay.
Which is what happened to the grandmother.
Oh.
And you get left behind as a reminder you need to, like, continue to teach to be hopeful and be good, and or else this is what happens.
So there's a moral to the story.
There is.
Oh.
So then he always gives you an ornament at the end, as a reminder. And he throws it back at Krampus, and he's like, I want them back. I take back my wish. And then he's like, take me instead. It's about sacrifice. Like the grandmother's telling him, it's about sacrifice, and take me instead. So Krampus takes the boy and throws him into the pit of hell. And the boy wakes up in his bed. He runs downstairs, and the family's all having their Christmas.
Okay.
So you're like, oh, man. Like, I hate when movies end like that. And then it pans out, and you see he opens up his Christmas gift, and it's the ornament from Krampus. And it pans out, and they're living that scene inside a snow globe that's in his hell dimension, covered by a bunch of other snow globes. Oh. So it was like, nope, you still got fucked by Krampus. Yep. Despite your sacrifice, you should have taken his gift and ran with it.
Right.
So I love that it wasn't like he did sacrifice, and in the end, Krampus opened his eyes. It was more like, yeah, he sacrificed, and Krampus was like, that's not the fucking point. The point is you stay alive to teach others. Nope, fuck you. Now you're all dead and coming with me.
See, so this goes back to don't trust your elders.
Yes.
Because...
No, had he listened to Grandma, who had explained to him that she was the last one alive, and as a warning. And so if he had just been like, all right, I get it. I'm the last one alive. I should have listened to Grandma. Because throughout the whole movie, when it started, Grandma's like, no, we bake cookies. We don't buy them at the store. And we always believe in Santa. And we have hope in our hearts. And we're good people. And the dad and the mom were like, oh, that's old-fashioned and that kind of stuff. And the boy was the last one who finally gave up on that. So had he listened to Grandma and actually kept doing that, this wouldn't happen in the first place. But then if he still listened to Grandma and was like, well, now I'm the one who has to go through and teach this lesson as the reminder. But no. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Silly boy. All right. So the other thing I want to talk to you about really fast, podcasts.
Sure.
You listened to the first episode of Serial Season 2.
Yes.
What do you think so far?
I think Bo is an asshole.
Right? Okay. So tell our audience what it is.
So season
Why
2.
I pour more whiskey for myself.
Season 2. I mean, if you want to touch me up, that's
I
fine,
got you.
Season 2 is about Bo Bergdahl, who was a U.S. soldier in Afghanistan, right? Iraq. Somewhere in the Middle East. It's all the same thing. Desert, whatever.
They don't have our podcast there. It's fine.
No, yeah. Yes, no. Nobody there listens yet. I'll make sure to look at that. Anyways,
do you think ISIS would support us though? Like they're always looking for new hip ways to get in.
We're looking for sponsors, and
I look great in black. Jay's already wearing black.
There we go. I'm getting the beard going. It's good. Mm-hmm. Anyways, so he was a soldier in the army. I want to say he was like a private first class or something like that.
Yeah, he was very low on the totem pole.
Very green. Decided he didn't like the way that leadership was working in his platoon. So he's like, you know what? I'll get a chance to expose this failure to lead by deserting my post and then showing up at another post somewhere else after everybody's been looking for me. I'll probably get thrown in jail, but I'll get to say how I feel.
So it's called a Dust 1, I believe is what they called it.
Dust 1, yeah.
Dust 1. When somebody goes missing, especially in a wartime situation, and it wasn't AWOL, but they are now missing.
Right.
Everyone gets alerted. It's called a Dust 1. So the generals get alerted. Everyone, not quite the president, but close to, everyone gets alerted to this.
Yeah.
So his thought process is, everyone's going to be alerted and looking for me. And there's this other base that's not that far away. I can make it in a day's hike.
Yeah.
I'll show up there, but by then everyone will be alerted to this Dust 1. I'll get arrested, but then they'll be like, what the fuck? And I can finally expose this bad leader that I have, this shitty lieutenant.
Right. So he went as far as to going into a market near the base and buying like local clothing so he would blend in, so he wasn't walking through the cities in his military garb. Came up with a plan. This is my favorite part of it. He comes up with his plan on how to get there, and he decides he sneaks out of the base, which I don't understand how he snuck out of the base. Obviously, these guards weren't on very good.
Well, he was supposed to be the guard,
right? But that meant there was a guard up there, though.
So the guard up there. Remember, he had said this. The guard up there only looks at one direction. He was against the side barrier that he knew and escaped out the side.
I still think that's crap. Anyways, so he gets out. He starts trekking towards this other base and decides to change his plan and go somewhere else or go a different route or something like that. And
it's even dumber than that. He gets out and he's like, after being gone about 2 hours, I realized this was probably a bad idea.
Yeah, he says in this interview he's giving, I knew from the get-go, obviously I was going to get in trouble, but the realization of how much shit I was going to have to deal with hit me about 2 hours in. So he kind of freaks out and he goes a different way. And
so instead he deviates from the plan and thought to himself, you know what I'll do? Instead of just making a Dust 1, coming back empty-handed, I'm going to go do recon about where they're planting these landmines and getting these rockets. So I'm going to do recon against the Taliban myself, and then I'm going to show up at this other base with this information. So even though I may get in trouble with the Dust 1, I'll tell them, well, if you let me off the hook, I'll give you this information.
Right.
This is his new fucking plan.
Yeah. So he's,
God damn it.
He's going to barter information with the army because he abandoned his post and doesn't want to get in trouble. So and you said this to me because you listened to the episode before I did. at every point that he could have changed his mind and done the right thing, instead he says like he essentially makes the worst decision.
He
possible.
doubles down on stupid.
Yeah.
Like every time he's like it came to him, he's like I was out there for 2 hours and I was like, fuck, this is a bad idea. I shouldn't be doing this.
So instead of turning around and going back, he
At that point, he wasn't even in enemy territory yet. He could have made it back to his base.
Absolutely.
So what happened is he decides he's going to go get this recon and this intel. And he knows about where this is happening. So he starts heading that direction. And then he admittedly doesn't check his compass for a couple of hours.
2 hours, he says.
And ends up in the fucking town. And then he gets captured.
Yeah.
Well, no shit, you fucking moron.
Yeah.
Like,
so, and then what I'm really looking forward to, and we get a clip of this at the end of the episode, is one of the Taliban guards at the jail he was being held in is now in U.S. custody, and is also giving his account of how things happen. So not only do we get to hear Bo talk about how much of an idiot he is and probably lie about a bunch of things, but now we get to hear from his jailer how he was in jail and see how cooperative he was with them, or whether he stood his ground, or any of that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a really interesting season on Serial Season 2.
So something that should be noted that we haven't talked about yet is Bergdahl has not spoken to any media.
No.
Any press. In fact, if you guys don't remember this, his dad was the one who grew the huge beard until he came back and was with President Barack Obama and yada, yada, yada. He hasn't spoken to anybody. All these recordings come from personal recordings with him and a movie producer.
Yeah, there's a documentary being made about it.
No, it's not a documentary.
Oh, I thought it was.
No, this is the same producer who made Hurt Locker, Zero Dark 30. Right. So they're making a movie.
Oh, so it's a dramatized...
It's a dramatization of it. So he has given over all the audio recordings to Serial to use. So it's not Sarah Koenig, the host of Serial, talking to him. These are recordings from the movie producer talking to him.
And the movie producer sounds like an idiot, too.
Oh, I don't know if he sounds like an idiot or if he's just goading him for more information.
That could be.
Because every now and then I'm all like, you are just a schmuck or you're smart because what you're saying is breaking him down and he's giving you so much more information.
Yeah, that could be.
Because obviously he doesn't care about Bergdahl. He just wants the money.
Yeah.
So, and it just blows my mind. It just reveals so much more about his stupidity where he's not willing to talk to the media or the news about it, but a movie producer?
Yeah.
Who's going to make fuck you, man. Like, they interview other soldiers who are at this base with him. And one of the person's all like, he sacrificed all of our lives because we went and looked for him.
Yep.
He was supposed to be at post. All these things could have happened. Because of him, like, we lost soldiers. We lost information because we exchanged key prisoners we had for his return, which is against policy.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm all like, man, we should just fucking left him there.
Right.
Like, he brought this on himself.
Well, and it's funny because in the episode they talk about, so he was actually from around here. He was from Idaho. And they talk about how while he was in Taliban custody, like, his town was, free Bergdahl, free Bo, like, all this kind of stuff, super supportive. And when he finally did get freed and he was coming home, they were going to have this big parade for him. And then people started questioning, like, wait a minute. He walked off the base.
He walked off the base.
He didn't get captured. He ran away and got caught. Fuck this. No parade. Parade's canceled. Everybody go to work.
Yeah, no parade. Fucking schmuck. All right. Trying to make this a little bit more of a streamlined episode, seeing as how it's the holiday season. I was at work for 14 hours today, so let's get right into the meat of it and the things I love, my comic books.
Okay.
And your comic books. What's on your pull list this week? Do you remember?
I would have had The Beauty.
Yep, Beauty came out.
I don't actually know what else came out. I was just trying to think of what I saw. So I also worked a little bit later today, and then I went and tried to do some of my holiday shopping. So I actually have not got any of my comics today. I had to steal one out of yours. So I read We Are Robin #7.
So my pull list is going to be We Are Robin #7, Lucifer, number 1. The Beauty, number 5. Justice League United 16. Darth Vader Annual 1. Justice League 46, which would be on yours too.
No, I don't read Justice League.
Oh, what? I thought you did.
No.
I think I say that every time Justice League comes out. Okay.
It's all right.
Superman American Alien, number 2. Star Wars Kanan, number 9. Squadron Supreme, number 1. And the Batman Superman Volume 4 Hardback Siege. Because I get all my Superman stuff in single issue and hardback.
I dropped that book so long ago, I don't even know what's happening. I read the first arc, and that was it.
It actually picks up after this arc.
Okay.
Yeah, really well. So what I read that was not on my poll was Klaus 2, Starbrand and Night Mask number 1, and Huck 2.
Starbrand?
And Night Mask.
I have no clue who Night Mask is. That's a Marvel book, though,
It's a Marvel book.
Yeah.
You know who Starbrand is?
Yeah. Because he was part of the New Universe. I don't know if you remember the New Universe.
He was introduced in Hickman's run of Avengers recently.
He existed before that.
Right, but this Starbrand.
Is it not the same? I guess the Starbrand changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Warren Ellis introduced, I want to say back in the 80s, the New Universe. Maybe 90s.
I'll give you late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
In that essence.
And then in the early 2000s, Marvel relaunched and tried to do a whole new Universal imprint.
Right, which bombed rough.
The new Universal title itself was good for the 4 issues that came out, and then I don't think Warren Ellis ever finished it. But yeah, all that other shit was terrible.
Yeah.
So that's the Starbrand I'm familiar with.
So this is the new Starbrand. He was in high school when he got the Starbrand. He's now this is not the book I'm going to review, but I'll tell you really fast. Sure. Just goddamn it. It's written by the guy who wrote Gargoyles and Young Justice.
Okay.
So I'm all like, clearly I'm in.
Right.
Like, why would I not read this issue? Oh yeah, that's why, because it sucked.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So they are both now got invited to be Avengers, and they've been, welcomed into the superhero community. Starbrand's one of the most powerful heroes in the world, and this and that. And they've been traveling.
I mean, he's still like J-list, but yeah.
Yeah, but he can destroy the Earth.
Right.
He has the ability literally to destroy the Earth. Hickman explains it. So they've been traveling the galaxies, like resolving some shit, handling some things after Infinity. And then they decide, no, we're actually not going to join the Avengers. We're going to college.
Who needs an education when you can destroy the Earth?
Right?
I mean, maybe a geology class, but
look, I'm not saying don't take some night classes.
Sure.
I'm not saying don't attend.
Yeah.
But don't say no to the Avengers, because I'm going to go to Empire State University.
Right.
While they're walking the hallways, they bump into Squirrel Girl.
Oh, God.
Just goddamn it. And then they bump into Deathlocket, who he thinks is super cute. And then, of course, they get villains show up at the end of the episode at the university.
Right. There's a big dodgeball match. And
I'm all like, fuck you. Just fuck you. Oh my God, it was so bad. But what was not bad was class number 2.
Okay.
Why are you making that smile?
That was a great segue.
Just I don't want to think about it anymore. It makes my head hurt. All right, so Class 2 is obviously the story of Santa Claus, Saint Nick, before he is Santa Claus, Saint Nick. Issue 1. I do that all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Issue 1 was the introduction to him in this town, where you no longer have the Yule celebration, because the guy who runs this town, who's not the king, he just runs it in the stead of the king.
Sure.
This small town as opposed to the whole kingdom. His boy can't leave the castle is what he says. The kid's a little shit. This guy's an asshole, so he stopped Yule for the entire town celebration. No toys. Only joy can go to the boy.
Okay.
So Klaus shows up, and he's like, well, fuck this. In the second one, he brings toys to all the kids on Christmas Eve.
Okay.
The way he does it is actually really comical. So in a couple scenes, like, he has to get around the guards to get into the town. So he takes a snowball, and he throws it on the top of the roof. It rolls. By the time it hits him, it's this huge snowball. And just slams down on him, and he infiltrates it.
Okay.
And then he gives all the kids toys, and they're all super excited. The parents are like, no, you can't have these. But, like, every kid has it.
Right.
So it's all just, like, silly, comical kind of humor. but it's really fun.
Okay.
I'm waiting for Grant Morrison to Morrison it.
Yeah, it's you're gonna have parallel Klauses come in.
I am just waiting for Klaus to fire a time arrow that goes into the past and kills the Yule Lord. Like, something stupid's gonna fucking happen. The art by Dan Moore is just beautiful, though. 2 issues in, I'm enjoying the shit out of it.
Okay.
Like, I really like it.
Cool.
Which is hard for me to say about a Grant Morrison book.
Just give it time.
He'll shoot himself in his foot.
Yeah, with the time bullet.
With it. Well, sure. He fired it yesterday. It'll get to him tomorrow.
I read. The hell, what's the name?
You
of
read
it?
We Are Robin.
We Are Robin #7,
which is part 4 of the Robin War, which is why you read it.
We talked about Robin War last week. Kind of a smaller. It's real bad when an 11-issue series or event is a small event, but sure. I was a little weird to read this because I bitched a lot last week about the teenage Robins running around Gotham, and that's fair. This is the book that they are typically in. This is their book. But what I enjoyed about this book is that they're pretty much not in it.
Yeah, it's all Dick. Great.
Yeah.
It's all Tim, Dick, and Jason.
Yeah. So it opens up with Dick and Commissioner Gordon trying to infiltrate. I think they're trying to get into one of the Owls buildings. I was kind of unclear on that. But
yeah, it is the Court of Owls because they find out in Detective Comics that they are legitimate. They are coming for him as the Grey Sun. Right.
So kind of a cool moment between them. Dick's talking a lot about when he first became Robin, how he thought that Jim Gordon didn't want him around. He would never look at him when him and Batman were on the top of the Gotham City Police Department building and that sort of thing. And Gordon talks a lot about I've come to realize that laws are kind of meant to be bent, and the city was going to shit. And yeah, I didn't want Batman to have a teenage partner, but you definitely proved yourself. And then it cuts to, if you remember, all of the teenage Robins got captured, and they're in cages underground right now, which is this whole crazy. They're in cages.
So essentially, what happened? The reason they're in cages is the Court of Owls is controlling this councilwoman.
Mm-hmm.
The councilwoman has made a supermax prison to contain all the Robins.
Yeah,
because they're just pulling her strings. She doesn't at this point. She's just doing whatever they say.
Right. So you've got all of them in cage, and that includes Damien. And then they bring in Tim and Jason and say, you guys need to fight to the death, and whichever one of you wins is going to become the new Talon. Right? Because that's motivation.
Which, let's be honest, Jason would win in a heartbeat.
So they start pretending to fight, and then Tim's like, all right, are you strong enough? Can you do this? Because they have a plan. And Jason's like, sure. So they do this crazy acrobat move where Jason uses legs. Essentially, it's a fastball special.
Nice.
Yeah. Tim gets up into where the cages are because they're suspended from the ceiling and is able to open up all the cages. And you hear, I think it's Damien say, they did a Grayson, which is kind of a thing because part of the kind of the underlying tone of what this event is you have Dick Grayson, who was the first Robin.
Right.
And he's regarded as the best Robin, even by the other Robins. And Tim and Jason make a joke Dick would have had this done in a 10th of the time it took us to get this shit done.
And on top of that, too, with Robin, the current Robin, Damien, the only out of all the Robins, Dick is the only one he respects because in this world, Dick was still his Batman at some point.
Yeah. So, and that's pretty much the issue. There's 3 whole pages of acrobatic scenes and stuff like that.
They are definitely stretching out the Robin War to make it something. Given what the Talons say, the something is to bring back Nightwing. How it ends, I don't really know. I literally just had this thought, instantly as I'm saying this, and if this is accurate, I'm going to be so mad. And again, take this with a grain of salt. I literally just thought about it. But Duke and Dick were talking about what it means, and Duke is clearly above all the other Robins.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What if they make him the next Nightwing?
I'm going to be pissed.
Right? Obviously, we're just spitballing stupid ideas at this point, but if that happens, do they let us record in prison? Is that a thing?
Yeah, no, I saw it on Empire. It can happen.
Oh, sweet. Then we'll be coming from me from a prison for murder.
But at the end of this issue, Talon does show up. A Talon shows up. And that Talon kind of was doing some narrating throughout the issue. So I'm curious to see if it's still the same Talon that we've had, or if it's somebody else in the Talon costume. I never really followed the Talon.
That is not the other Talon.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay. So we'll see what happens. I'll have to pick up whatever the next issue that comes out is.
The next one is going to be Robin, Son of Batman, number 7.
All right.
Because essentially that's part 5.
Yeah.
Which means after that it's just it.
The Teen Titans issue needs to come out still. That tie-in, but
that's a tie-in, but it's not a.
Yeah. So it wraps up in Robin, Son of Batman, number 7. Which is another one I'm gonna have to read that I don't normally.
Yeah, you can read my copy.
Yeah.
I get it, because I'm a sucker for Robins.
Yeah.
That's all I have for this week.
That's it for me.
We may or may not be back next week, given that it's the holiday, and I really don't remember when Christmas Eve is, if it's Wednesday or Thursday.
It is Thursday.
Hey, sweet. We'll be back next week, guys. Bye.
See you.